Outlaw Law is brought to you by Whitaker and Hamer, attorneys and counselors at law. Your law firm for life.
Welcome back into the Outlaw Lawyers, hosted by Josh Whitaker and Joe Hamer, managing partners, Whitaker and Hamer Law Firm. Again, offices, Raleigh, Garner, Clayton, Goldsboro, Fuquay-Varina, Gastonia, and soon-to-be Morehead City. They are practicing attorneys here in the great state of North Carolina. And visiting with us today, also attorneys at Whitaker and Hamer, and in studio, Cassandra Nicholas and Ashley Penner. We're doing question and answer, but we've got some sidebar coming up.
Cassandra, what's this documentary you're just telling me about?
Untold, the story of Manti Te'o. So he was a football player at
Notre Dame?
At Notre Dame, that's right.
How do you not remember Manti Te'o? I don't understand, Josh.
I remember he was like a middle linebacker, right? He was a linebacker.
Yeah, he was very he was very popular. He was very prominent. He almost won a Heisman as a middle linebacker, which is, exceedingly crazy.
I know.
And probably didn't win due to his personal drama.
Well, no, he was there because of his personal drama. So his personal drama hadn't unfolded by then. So part of he dedicated his senior season. His grandmother and his girlfriend died on the same day, and he got in the media and he talked about how he was dedicating his season to them, and so it was this huge national story before every day.
And
every game.
And just for our listeners, catfishing. Let's go over that, because that is, it's a show on MTV, but people assume identities and fake it, and apparently he was caught up in that.
It was this was like the original Catfish, where he basically
the early days of Facebook, where it was like the strangers would just friend you and you'd talk to them.
Yeah, people were
and
more
apparently
trusting,
date
man.
them.
You didn't no one, for whatever reason, people hadn't really thought of this idea of hoodwinking people into thinking you're someone else, and turn into this big long relationship. Anyways, I guess it got to the point where the guy who's catfishing him, which there's speculation there was multiple people. This is really a deep, intricate, interesting story. But I guess he painted himself into a corner to where he was going to have to meet at some point, and he ultimately faked his death. But beyond that, man, he didn't just fake his death. He kept impersonating other people, and he was like, yeah, the girl, her name was, what was it? Leia? I can't remember her exact name.
Lene.
Yeah, so Lene, that's what it was. He was like, Lene's on, she's in the hospital. And he was getting on the phone for weeks, having Manti talk to Lene and just breathing as her, pretending like he was breathing on life support into the phone while the guy talked to him, and he would change the cadence of his breathing. It's nuts, man.
And actually met the catfisher in person. There's a little clip of the two of them meeting, but Manti believes that the person he's meeting is Lene's cousin. So they hug and whatever. And that was the person he was in a relationship with for years and had no idea.
He ran the guy created an entire family. So he created family members.
What's the goal here? What was the goal here? He
was apparently the individual who now identifies as a trans woman had some issues and basically explains it. One thing I don't like about the documentary personally is they really paint this person that perpetrated this hoax in kind of a sympathetic light. And I got issues with that, man, because the way, the merciless way that he went about this, and the impact that it had on Manti is just, it cannot be overstated. When that came out, that was everything, and it came out, and that just basically derailed everything for him. Completely tarnished his reputation. It was a major, major issue, and I remember at the time there was a lot of speculation from people. Because he was so vocal about this happening. So there was a lot of speculation that he was in on it. And honestly, that was what I thought until I saw the documentary. And you can look at it and you still, he was naive for sure. But when you realize the lengths that this person went to,
would be way too embarrassed to be in the documentary. I don't know
in
how.
There. I was about to ask.
Manti was in it, and the catfisher were in it. They were both interviewed extensively. Manti's family was interviewed. Manti's family actually talked to the characters created by the catfisher on the phone too. So
yeah, he got a little girl. He got his little sister to pretend like he was the niece, and had the little child sister talking about the girl. But here's the twist, Josh. So he's on life support, right? Breathing into the phone for weeks, just breathing into the phone, and finally fakes the death, right? Well, some time goes by, and this guy obviously has issues and can't let it go, and like starts calling and saying that he's the sister. He's like, I'm so and so's sister, and then randomly during a conversation, he's like, Manti, it's me, and starts doing the girl's voice again. Yeah. And it's like, I'm not dead.
I had to fake my death to get away from some people, but now I'm safe, and I can tell you that I'm alive. And,
yeah, but that was right when
national media saying that his grandma and girlfriend died on the same day, and now this person
he told everyone she was dead, and then he finds that out like right before the Heisman ceremony. So he gets up there at the Heisman ceremony, and they're asking him all these questions about it, and he was like, I knew that she was alive, but I didn't know what to do. So like he just kind of goes with it. It's just nuts.
Yeah, this is in honor of my dead girlfriend who I just talked to 5 minutes ago.
Did anybody go to jail for any of this stuff? Is this like?
Did anyone get committed for any of this?
No, man. The person who perpetrated the hoax is alive and well, doing just fine. It blows your mind because they start off the documentary, and this is a young man that's doing this, and then like out of nowhere they cut and they show the person coming on screen, and like I said, transitioned into a trans woman. It looks completely different. It's like the most mind-blowing immediate shock transition. And they gave a disclaimer. They were like, everyone that filmed this, that discusses this person, had no idea that this person had transitioned. So they refer to it's just nuts, man. The layers of it. It's very intriguing, man. I know you don't watch things, Josh, but
I'm never going to watch it. This is the most I'm ever going to know about it right now.
Well, he was drafted into the NFL back in 2013, and I think he played through last season. I'm not sure if he is going to be on a roster this season, but you watch. I only watched the early portion of the documentary. His family has a huge legacy at Southern Cal. And it was pretty apparent that he was going to go there. He ends up at Notre Dame from a sign, and it was, you go from, that tropical climate to Notre Dame, and he was just kind of lost. And all of a sudden, it was like he was the perfect target for something like this, but not seeing someone and dating them for that long and not having questions. And I mean, it's just, and then, it gets out into the media, and it's almost like he's got to keep it going too. I mean, it's crazy.
You should know if you ever tell me about something or say, Josh, you should check out this movie, or Josh, you should check out. I'm not watching it. I'll never.
Well, Josh,
see
what
it.
you don't know is I've been catfishing you for the last several years.
Well, I heard Bart Simpson has a cameo, so maybe that'll get you.
Maybe. No,
I'm kidding.
Well, we do have another question. I feel like we should at least get to this question. So listener question number 3, am I a power of attorney, an attorney in fact, or an agent? So we get people all the time who are kind of confused on what these terms mean and who they are and what the documents may be called. So Ashley, I guess the first answer to that question is to define what a power of attorney is.
Yeah, so you are not a power of attorney. That is a document that someone has signed appointing you as either an attorney in fact or an agent. And this language is fairly interchangeable. In 2018, North Carolina, the General Assembly passed an update to the North Carolina Power of Attorney statute, and so they updated the terminology. Used to be called an attorney in fact, now called an agent. We'll still see older powers of attorney that were prepared prior to that update, and they are still, as long as they were validly executed and all of the formalities there were intact, still effective documents, still can be used. And so we try to be consistent with the language in the document. If it refers to you as an attorney in fact, we'll keep that language, but new language would be to call you an agent. And I think it creates less confusion. People hear the word attorney and automatically jump to an attorney licensed to practice law, but very big distinction there. Attorney in fact is just what you call the person that was appointed under an older power of attorney in North Carolina.
When that changed, I still don't know how I feel about agent. I feel like agent's not special enough.
special agent.
Yeah, that would be way better.
I get it. It's, we, of course, in our real estate practice deal with real estate agents. And so that language can become, I guess, a little confusing for folks, especially if you're involved in a real estate transaction and you need to use your power of attorney to allow your agent or your attorney, in fact, whatever they're called in the document, to sign. So, maybe they'll work on that for the next update.
Yeah, but that's good though. Yeah, power of attorney is a legal document. So you're never a power of attorney. You may be acting under the authority given to you in a power of attorney, but you are never a power of attorney. You are an attorney in fact, or an agent. Again, a lot less special. But if you're acting in that capacity, you do have a fiduciary duty to whoever you're acting for. So if your aging parents made you their attorney in fact via a drafted power of attorney, you're always acting in their best interest, even if you have the power to gift to yourself. Even if there's all kinds of powers somebody can give you. They can be very limited. They can limit it to one transaction, one checking account. It can be very limited, or it can be very broad, where you can do just about anything the person who appointed you as their attorney in fact an agent can do. But you're always subject to that fiduciary duty, doing what's best for them. And of course, not what's best for you or best for, your siblings, but what's best for them. So I think that's always an important distinction. But yet another fiduciary.
Yeah, I haven't dealt with these very much outside of the real estate context where someone else is signing for someone at a real estate closing. However, I did find a limit to even a very broad power of attorney. For an estate client, someone was named an executor, a spouse who is elderly, and their grown child is an agent for them under a very broad power of attorney. An elderly parent was not available to sign a document for the estate. So I allowed the power of attorney to sign, and the clerk said no. So even the very broad ones do have limits where the agent signing on your behalf may not be effective.
Yeah, they're absolutely, you can't give every authority that you have over under a power of attorney. You can give your agent certainly some broad authority, but for example, you won't ever be able to give your agent the authority to change your will, change your estate planning documents. You can give them some authority as it relates to a trust if the language is there and very specific. But yeah, absolutely does have some limitations.
I probably should have called Ashley first. But
we're coming up against the break, but I think this is a good start. A good place to point out that if you are someone's attorney in fact or agent, that power that they've given you ceases at their death. So occasionally we'll run into someone who thinks they can still do things when the person who gave the power has passed away, and your power ceases when they pass away, and that's when you have to go get an estate opened and become the executor or the administrator or collectively the personal representative. So you can no longer act on behalf of someone who's passed away under a power of attorney. But that's a good summation of those definitions.
The Outlaw Lawyer, we're going to wrap things up after the break, but Josh Whitaker and Joe Hamer, your hosts, managing partners at Whitaker and Hamer Law Firm. Our guests in studio, Cassandra Nicholas and Ashley Penner, also attorneys at Whitaker and Hamer. Offices conveniently located Raleigh, Garner, Clayton, Goldsboro, Fuquay, Varina, Gastonia, and coming to Morehead City. If you've got a legal situation you're facing, you can always call the firm, 800-659-1186. That's 800-659-1186. Leave your contact info, briefly what that call's about. An attorney will be in touch from Whitaker and Hamer. You can always email your questions to the show, questions@theoutlawlawyer.com. Back after this.